Hey there guys, what is up? It is MG1999 and I'm finally back at it again with another video. Now for today's video, this is going to be a new segment on the channel called STM Film Review, which stands for Stop Motion Film Review. Now for the first film we are going to review is the just released, I believe yesterday, the Thundercat 123 Studios Crisis on Infinite Earths film. Now, what I will say is, before we get started, that this is all just my opinions and my constructive criticism. You guys could take this with a grain of salt. You guys could completely disagree with me or agree with me on some points, disagree with me on others. It really doesn't matter because this is just my opinion and my overall review. So, yeah. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and that does not mean that if you don't agree with that person's opinion that, you don't have to say, mean shit in the comments. So, keep it clean. Keep it clean. With that being said, if I am missing anything that you guys would like to point out, or if you guys would like to fill me in on any bits of information that I may have missed in this review, please do leave a comment down below letting me what I could have missed, or even just little bits of information that you feel like I should have known while watching the film. So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below. Now, I want everybody to get a glass of your favorite drink, whatever is good for you, and get popcorn, chips, whatever you guys like to eat. And yeah, just sit back, relax, and enjoy this film review. Okay, so I'm going to be giving this film a rating basing off of these three main points. So the first point is story. If the story stays consistent throughout the whole film, and if everything lines up towards the end, and if there are, anything like plot holes and whatnot, so just anything in that sort of nature. And the next thing I'm going to be judging it off of is the animation, the smoothness of the animation, and if the person took the time out of their way to make sure that everything was smooth and crisp. And lastly, the audio, if all the audio levels are, the same, and if I could hear everything perfectly, and the music and the sound effects and whatnot. And, for a bonus here, I'm going to throw in voice acting, because I do feel like voice acting is a very, very big deal, especially when it comes to stop motion films or in films in general. Everything has to sound legit. And I feel like this does go into audio, but I feel like it should have its own little place here. Spoilers ahead. I'm being straight up with you right now, so it's your loss. So to get started, I just want to say that I am very new to his channel in terms of, I haven't watched too many of his previous films, and I know that all of his films, well, a lot of them anyways, are pretty much linked together, kind of like, the MCU and the CW shows. So, that being said, I really appreciate it as, a newcomer to the channel, that there was a synopsis in the description pretty much giving you an overall description of the story behind the film. And I'll put the synopsis up here right now. And you could just pause this. I'm not trying to make this video crazy long or anything. So that being said, that there was a synopsis, I feel like there were a couple of plot holes, and I don't know if that is just because there are scenes that aren't in this film but are in other previous films. But I don't know, I kind of just felt like it should have been all compiled together, if that were the case, to make one big film. Because, like I said, a newcomer is going to be lost in terms of the scenes that aren't inside of the film. And For this, I am talking about the time jumps that do occur in this film. There are two. There's one at the beginning that is a week time jump, and I just feel like that time jump from a week later could have been used a bit better. I feel like it could have that during that time it could have been used for more character development in the film to just make the film that much more impactful in terms of the events that transpire. Like out of nowhere there was just like 1 week time jump and I was like, wait, what the fuck was going on? So yeah, I feel like that time jump could have been done a little bit better, and you could have used at least some of the time in that week to, give the characters a bit more development in terms of story and plot purposes. So, yeah. Now, talking about the end scene time jump, I was completely lost. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, there was like a whole year time jump, and we got no conclusion of the story, or the events that transpired, because Superman hit Superboy Prime, and it was basically just scene cut 1 year later, and I was really wondering, what happened in afterwards, like what happened to the characters. So yet again, I feel like I feel like the ending time jump was that needed to be, thought out a bit more. Like to make this a complete film, we needed a sense of what happened exactly after, like the events right after that big event that just transpired in the film. So, yeah. What I will say though is I really do like the story that is going on here. I like the selection of characters that you did pick. I love Superboy Prime. I thought that was a great option along with Darkseid. I do like the voice acting. I thought the voice acting was actually was all right for the film, and I was actually thoroughly impressed with the animation. Now, I'm assuming that you filmed this on your phone, and if that is the case, then amazing job, because it is very smooth. And so is even like the drawn on effects. I thought that those were very good animated, very well animated. Now, I'm assuming that since you didn't have the monitor figure, you sort of subbed in Jor-El as that character, and I thought that was a very good option. Very nice. I also really like the amount of of characters that are in this film, because there are quite a lot. I like the abundance of Supermen that you did put in the film, as well as Batman. Uh, yeah, I just really like the overall casting in terms of characters that you did put in this film. And I feel like everybody that did voices did a pretty solid job. I was actually very impressed with that. Now, that being said, I will say that I don't know what the budget is. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that we're not made out of money here. But I would definitely invest in terms of dioramas, extreme sets. You don't gotta do it all at once, but over time, I would definitely start investing in terms of sets, because it really does add a lot more to films. And especially if you add different types of lighting, it could definitely set different moods and emotions that you really want to try to express in films. Especially like the scene where Barry Allen dies. I feel like with the right lighting and the right effects and the right sets, I feel like you really could have expressed a lot more emotion and really make more of an impact in that scene. But with that being said, I thought you did a good job in terms of expressing the emotions with the equipment that you did have. And even for lighting, it could be as simple as taking a lamp and getting tissue paper, like different colored tissue paper, and just wrapping it around the lamp. It could be that simple, for creating different color hues and just different tones overall. Like, it's not expensive at all for lighting and such. So, it is for software and, different equipment, but in terms of lighting, it really doesn't have to be that expensive. Now, watching this film, I did see a lot of different elements in here, some DCU, some CW. I saw a lot of different elements get poured into this, and I really like all of that. So I thought this was like a great uh like combination of all of those elements. I really seemed to enjoy it while watching the film. And like I said, all this being filmed, I'm assuming on your phone, uh, is very cool. I actually really liked how fluent the animation was, even though it was filmed on your phone. Uh, I know, investing in a camera can be quite expensive. I should know, but I feel like you definitely did a really good job here with just using your phone. Also, I do feel that certain characters' dialogue was a bit low in terms of audio levels. It was kind of hard to hear other characters without having to like really crank up the volume. So, you always want to make sure in terms of editing that all the volume levels are even so you could hear everybody clearly. That's very important. It kind of throws off certain scenes, especially if you're trying to go for those really emotional ones. You want to make sure all the audio levels are the same. Now, in terms of story, even though there were, a couple of, time jumps and little gaps where I was, left, with a gigantic question mark on the top of my head, I really seemed to, really understand the story in terms of what you were going for, and I did feel that you did achieve most of it. Yet again, just that it wasn't as much the first one, the first time jump. It was more of the last one where I was, just like really wondering what happened. So, I always say this to everybody, and I say this to myself all the time, to take your time, really review everything. I always write a script. I don't know if you do the same thing or if you do something similar, but it's always got to make sense and everything always has to be answered. So even if it just takes 2 seconds to answer one little plot hole question, that's one less question that the viewer has to ask, and that's always a good sign. So I would definitely just take more time out to make sure that the story is very well explained and very well thought out. But yet again, I did understand, exactly what you were going for here, and I could appreciate that, me being a DC fan, along with probably everybody that watched the video. I really appreciated it, and I actually really enjoyed this film a lot. I also gotta say this, I absolutely loved the voice actor that did Darkseid. I thought that he did it flawlessly. I thought the voice actor for Darkseid was very, very good. And all the scenes with Darkseid, they were all very well animated, very fluent. I was actually very, very happy with that. Especially, since I don't really like that particular figure of Darkseid. I feel like he's a bit small. I really did like all the scenes that he was in. And yeah, I was just really, really impressed with Darkseid, and as well as the Speed Force animations, like with the flashes, they're running. I actually thought that that was pretty good, for it being, drawn. I thought that was really good and very smooth too, by the way. I actually really appreciated that. And I'm also a very huge fan of originality in terms of stop motion films. I always appreciate it when somebody is being very original. And I felt like a lot of the elements that you added in this film are, you're still taking some inspiration from the show, the comics, but at the same time, you are adding your own bits and pieces here and there to really make it your own Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, I thought you did a great job, and even though there were a couple of things that left me questionable, I overall really liked the film a lot. I can't wait for future projects and future films that you do come out with. I do feel like that this film, I'm assuming it's sort of like done in a CW MCU style where you have to watch the other films previous in order to get the full effect. Uh, I kind of would have just made this a series rather than film after film. I would have made this sort of like a TV show. Just build it all up, but have it under the same name. Because when you're making, stop motion films, or, you're making these stop motions, you want it to be accessible to everybody. People that are either returning and have seen the films prior, or to people that are just watching it for the first time. At least put like a notification at the beginning of the video to make sure that they do watch all of the previous films, or just have it all under one single video to make sure that they get the full effect regardless. Now, that was my review, and the rating that I did give Crisis on Infinite Earths by Thundercat originally it was a 6 out of 10, but I'm assuming that you filmed this all on your phone. Now, if that's the case, I feel like that people that film with camera and have, full editing software definitely have more of an advantage. So I decided to give you an extra point, so 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed this film. I can't wait for future projects that you do, especially, continuing this and adding more to the story, because I feel like you really do have something here. I especially like the development of Kid Flash's character as well. I know I haven't talked about that, but that was one thing that I really did appreciate in this film. The advancement of Kid Flash becoming the new Flash. I really, really enjoyed that, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see more. Most definitely. I'm probably gonna have to go back and watch the previous films, but like I said, whenever you make stop motions, you always want to make it accessible to everybody, newcomers and people that have seen the previous films. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, alright guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know what rating you guys gave it, or make a review of your own. I feel like this community is definitely lacking in terms of reviews of each other's work. Meanwhile, in the film industry, reviews of films come out every day. You know what I'm saying? So why should we be no different? And that being said, if I came off as, too harsh, or if you didn't agree with anything that I said, or if you agreed with some things and disagreed with others, that's all fine, but yet again, everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and that is all that this is, my review, my opinions, and my constructive criticism. So definitely, there's no need for backlash or, just anger, so it's unnecessary. So yeah, guys, that was my review. I hope you guys all liked it. Please comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And yeah, let me know if you guys want me to do more of these too. I'm not sure, but yeah, just definitely let me know what you guys think. So, all right, guys, peace.